They humiliated my father for being a teacher at every Christmas. So I humiliated them back by revealing my $100 million fortune and playing their own cruel words back to them on projector. The annual Harrington family Christmas Eve dinner was a tradition I had come to dread. It was never about the warmth of family or the spirit of the season. It was a gladiatorial arena where status was the only weapon, and my father Robert and I were the perpetual targets. We were the middle-class branch on a family tree, dripping with old money and condescension. My father, a humble but brilliant high school history teacher, was their favorite punchline. My Uncle Richard, a smug real estate developer, would inevitably clink his glass and say, "Another year shaping young minds, Robert. Still driving that same sensible Japanese sedan?" My Aunt Patricia would follow with a saccharine smile. "It's so admirable that you're content with so little. Not all of us are built for the hustle." They would look at our modest gifts with pitying eyes. Their whispers about poor Robert and his boy slithering through the opulent dining room like venomous snakes. My father, a man of immense quiet dignity, would just squeeze my knee under the table, a silent signal to endure it, to take the high road. But with every sneer, every backhanded compliment, a cold, hard resolve was crystallizing within me. I was done taking the high road. I was going to build a new one they couldn't even afford the toll for. This is a story for anyone who has ever been looked down upon, for anyone who has been told they aren't enough. It's a blueprint for turning silent resentment into unstoppable action. If you're ready for a tale of the ultimate payback, then like, comment, and subscribe, because this is a journey from the bottom to the top that you won't want to miss. Now let's get back to the story. The breaking point came at the previous year's dinner. I had just graduated with a degree in business, and the mockery was particularly sharp. So the business major is finally done. Got a fancy office job lined up? My cousin Chad, a trust fund baby with a fabricated job at his father's firm, had sneered. When I mentioned I was exploring e-commerce, the table erupted in patronizing laughter. Selling trinkets online? Oh, that's precious. Well, I'm sure your father is proud you have a hobby. That night, I looked at my dad as he polished his 10-year-old car in our driveway. His shoulders slumped with a weight that wasn't physical. I made a vow to myself, not with anger, but with the cold, calculated focus of a general planning a campaign. They thought hustling was a loud, obnoxious performance. I was about to show them that true hustle is silent, relentless, and deadly effective. I dove into the digital underworld of global commerce. While my family sipped champagne, I was consuming every piece of information I could find on supply chain logistics, SEO, digital marketing funnels, and international trade law. I identified a niche that was deceptively simple: premium, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. The market was saturated with overpriced brands and ineffective cheap alternatives. I saw a gap. Using every dollar from my savings and a small discreet loan from my father, which I framed as an investment in a small online store, I began sourcing. I didn't just look for the cheapest manufacturers in China. I used my research to find factories that produced high-concentration, plant-based formulas with luxurious packaging. I became a nightmare client, demanding lab reports, samples, and quality assurances. I negotiated not just on price, but on shipping, tariffs, and exclusivity. I designed a sleek minimalist brand I called Aura Clean, positioning it not as a cleaning product, but as a lifestyle upgrade for the discerning modern consumer. Then I launched. I didn't just list products on Amazon. I built a direct-to-consumer website with a subscription model. I masterminded social media campaigns targeting eco-conscious millennials and busy professionals. I sent meticulously packaged PR boxes to influencers who valued aesthetics. I worked 20-hour days, my small bedroom transformed into a war room, the glow of my laptop my constant companion. My family, of course, assumed I was playing video games, or at best, running my little hobby. I let them believe it. The first month, I made a $5,000 profit. Within 6 months, Aura Clean was a viral sensation. The subscription model created a predictable, exploding revenue stream. I reinvested every single cent, scaling ads, optimizing my website, and expanding the product line. I hired a virtual assistant, then a small, dedicated customer service team. I was no longer a one-man operation. I was the silent, unseen CEO of a rapidly growing empire. By the 11th month, I had quietly surpassed $100 million in revenue. The hobby was now a conglomerate. I kept it all a secret from my father. I paid back his loan tenfold into his savings account without telling him, leaving him bewildered. I wanted the full revelation to be a moment he would remember for the rest of his life. The next Christmas Eve arrived. The air was thick with the usual condescension as we pulled up to my uncle's mansion, but this time we didn't arrive in the familiar sedan. We arrived in a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a vehicle worth more than my uncle's entire house. I had hired a driver for the night. The car crunched slowly up the gravel driveway, its iconic silhouette drawing every eye to the window. The silence when we stepped out was more satisfying than any applause. My Uncle Richard stood at the door, his jaw unhinged. Aunt Patricia's smile was frozen in a rictus of confusion. My father, wearing a suit I had bought for him for this exact moment, walked beside me, his confusion warring with a dawning sense of pride. The entire dinner was a masterpiece of awkward tension. The usual barbs didn't come. They were too busy staring, too busy whispering. Halfway through the dessert, I stood up. "Everyone, I have a little Christmas presentation I'd like to share." I connected my laptop to my uncle's giant wall-mounted projector. The screen flickered to life. What played was not a slideshow of vacation photos, but a meticulously edited documentary. I had compiled years of hidden camera phone footage and audio recordings from these very dinners. There was Uncle Richard's voice. "A teacher? Really, Robert? A man of your intelligence wasted on teenagers?" There was Aunt Patricia's. "We just worry about you too. It must be so hard." Clip after clip, a montage of their sneers, their pitying glances, their condescending advice. I had set it all to a somber, orchestral score that highlighted the sheer cruelty of their words. The room was a tomb. You could hear a pin drop. The color had drained from every face. When the video ended, I stood up again. I looked at my father, who had tears of pride and relief in his eyes, and then I turned to my family. "We didn't need your pity then," I said, my voice calm and steady, cutting through the heavy silence. "And we certainly don't need cruel relatives in our lives now. Your validation is worthless. My father is the greatest man I have ever known, and his value was never, ever defined by your shallow metrics of success." I helped my dad to his feet. As we walked toward the door, I paused and turned back for a final moment. "Oh, and one more thing," I said, as if it were a casual afterthought. "The hobby you all found so amusing, it just crossed 100 million in revenue, and based on the projections, I'll be a billionaire within the next year. Merry Christmas." The shock in the room was a physical force. As we walked out, the spell broke. They erupted, a chorus of pleas, apologies, and desperate attempts to patch things up. "We're family!" It was all in good fun. Let's not be hasty. We didn't even look back. We slid into the plush interior of the Rolls-Royce, and as the driver pulled away, my father finally let out a breath he seemed to have been holding for 20 years. He looked at me, not as his son, but as his equal, his protector. "Thank you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You didn't just build a company. You gave me my dignity back." We drove off into the Christmas night, leaving the gilded cage of their judgment behind us forever, finally free in the empire we had built for ourselves.